Hi again. You know what's embarrassing? This is one of those redhead charcoal fired briquettes. I put these on top of the feather carbon when I was making that, and to stop the fumes and stuff, so it would have urea and feather carbon fumes all the way through. I took a hacksaw and sliced the piece right down through here to make an electrode, and I was trying to zinc plate it. And I jammed it in the old cell, the original liquid. It's got no separator or anything. It's got a piece of zinc plate there on the negative and just that cookie connected to that clamp. And yeah, I gave it 20 minutes for electrolysis to plate it, but I was gonna go back to this other cell here and give that another go for charging. And it stayed at 1.7 volts. I connected a 20 milliamp load to it, dropped down to 1.6, and it's currently going for 9 minutes. It's at 1.2 volts. So that makes my hexacyanoferrate cell look poor. Unless there is a hexacyanoferrate floating around that solution which accumulated onto that positive charcoal cookie briquette. It's very porous through the center of this thing. It's well formed, I guess, and the resistance isn't too bad. It's about 60 ohms, just putting the probe on one end and to the other end of it. And it's actually performing much better than my other cell I deliberately made. Yes. And my electrolysis voltage was 2.2 volts. So, just out of curiosity, I thought I'd see if it had any discharge, and we're already at 4 milliamp hours and 5 milliwatt hours. So I think if you structure your positive electrodes out of some sort of charcoal form structure, it's got the pores going through the center of it all, and the surface area is much greater. Alright, I'll get back. It's holding its voltage quite well, considering it's got nothing to it and no separator, no nothing. Old crusty electrolyte which had like 60 charges through it. Gone black before I even put that chip in it. So interesting. I might try the same chip in the clean electrolyte and see if we get the same results. So we're at 12 minutes. I gave that there cell with the 1 gram of zinc hexacyanoferrate on it a 2-hour charge, and it broke down near 1 hour and 57 minutes and started shorting out, and it only ran for 12 minutes and only delivered 3 milliwatt hours and 4 milliamp hours. This one's blitzing it. Alright, I'll get back when this one finishes. Oops, one more thing, I got a whole bucket of them. I put all of them in there with the feather carbon and urea mix. Some of those silver ones probably are much better. They're at the higher end of the chamber, I'd imagine. Well, the cell's still running, 23 minutes, and it's still at 1 volt. It's beat all of my battery cell tests to date. What I suspect is going on, what was floating around in that electrolyte was the zinc hexacyanoferrate particles, and when I put that charcoal cookie briquette in there and added charge to it, it just sucked it all into the pores of it all, I'd imagine. unless this is just some sort of freak run. I'll give it an hour's charge after this discharge and see what we get out of it. But so far it's done 8 milliamp hours and 11 milliwatt hours on a 20-minute charge. So who needs to get all technical about making a battery? Just stick the zinc hexacyanoferrate into the liquid, use a zinc sulfate, 1 molar, and charge it with a briquette, charcoal briquette. Surprising results. It's just holding. It's probably got larger surface area than that test cell, but it still doesn't account for that because it was like 68 ohms. Those little graphite pads in the proper cell are like 0.1 ohms. And the connection's just a alligator clip onto the thing without a collector or anything. Alligator clip's not in liquid. The liquid's like 5 mil under it. And the zinc plate was the original zinc plate, which was all crusty and dirty looking. Alright, I'll get back, see how it actually lives for. Back 59 minutes, nearly an hour, and it's still running. It's 20 milliamp hours and 22 milliwatt hours, 0.8 volts. I'm wondering if it will do the same the next run. I'll charge it for an hour on the next run, but it seems to be holding in there. That was the original cell. If anyone's wanting to reproduce it, it had 0.22 grams of zinc hexacyanoferrate contaminated with metal stir bar, so Peruvian blue perhaps, somewhere near that. As the active ingredient, it had 30 charges. The cell went that colour it had 60 charges. The cell went that colour, so I'd imagine there's a bit of that stuff in there, the active material. And I'd say that carbon cookie sucked it all up. It's high on surface area, I'd imagine, as well. I've tried a carbon briquette like that in plain zinc sulfate in one of my other videos, and I've not got a result like this, I don't think. Yeah, it wouldn't have been this high. So it's got something to do with those active ingredients in the electrolyte. Alright, I'll get back. Quick little update, cell's still holding strong, 0.7 volts, 1 hour and 18 minutes, 27 milliamp hours, 27 milliwatt hours. That's on par with the manganese dioxide cell. Alright, I'll be back. I just saw a gas bubble popping out of the top of that electrode. So I guess whatever you're going to connect as a contact there is going to be probably the problem of this cell. See it? There it goes. So outgasses out the top as well. So anything, I'd imagine that's going to just kill that alligator clip with too many charges. So there's going to be that issue to solve. Well, an hour and 45 minutes, 0.667 volts, 36 milliamp hours and 34 milliwatt hours. Alright, till the next update. Okay, I'm calling it for this battery. I'm going to give it another recharge to see if we can duplicate these results. They're crazy. It started off at 1.7 volts, 51 milliamp hours, 43 milliwatt hours and 2.5 hours runtime, and we're still at 0.537 volts. And the cell's just crudely constructed. There's a massive gap between the two plates. So we'll stop it and see what the voltage bounce back is. So it's going up slowly, and we'll check the plates. So the carbon cookie, it's pretty big though, I guess. It doesn't look like anything's going on in there really. It's about that fat, say what, 10 mil fat by 30 mil and probably about 70 mil long, but the electrolyte stops under there. And the zinc plate was the crustiest piece of zinc plate I could imagine. That was that first test. See, it's still got the ripples and I didn't even clean it off. I just left it standard. Doesn't look like it's decayed anymore. Still got those marks where we had the first test cell of the zinc hexacyanoferrate solution. That was the contaminated cell. So this electrolyte was the contaminated one. If that makes a difference. If we can't reproduce it in that cell after, it will probably be something to do with the contaminated version, the Peruvian blue, maybe. So we bounced back to 0.7. I've only just discovered this because I was going to electroplate the zinc onto that carbon to make a zinc plate. Now I thought I might as well give it a test after I gave it an hour, half hour or something, voltage to deplate it. Wasn't really plating well. Alright, I'll set up the data logger so I can charge, and I'll get back when I set up the charge. Okay, I'm ready to start a charge. We didn't bounce back much more than 0.7. I'll set the monitor. I'll connect the charger. We should be at 2.2 volts or something. 2.1 there. And the multimeter connected to the charger is 2.19, 2.18. 200 and something milliamps going through the cell. Alright, so I'll be back in about half hour and see if we can reproduce that result. I don't think it can't surely be that again, 51 milliamp hours. If it is, that actually beats the manganese dioxide version, which is to the left of that cell, and that's the second attempt at the zinc hexacyanoferrate cell, which ain't too good. But that had a piece of the printing paper as the separator this time on that cell. Alright, fingers crossed. Okay, the second charge for the carbon cookie, we're at 35 minutes on charge and we're still at 58, it's dropping still. Milliamps, that is. And we should see it drop in a second or so. I might give it a little bit more charge. I'll go 40 minutes. Alright, I'll be back if it drops or it doesn't. Okay, the voltage is still dropping, but it's been on charge for 50 minutes at 2.2 volts. The voltage has stayed steady. We're sort of just getting a few bubbles popping out of the top of that carbon every now and then. There's nothing sort of noticeable in the liquid for outgassing, so it's not too gassy. I'd say there is, but we just can't see him. So I'll just disconnect the charge, reconnect the data logger to the other end. Okay, we should have voltage in a minute. Okay, we're at 1.8. I'll stop the data logging and we'll start our test. 20 milliamp load again. Hopefully we're somewhere still at the same ballpark. Oh, she dropped pretty rapidly. So we might not get the same amount. I don't know, might have been just a freak run or the carbon pad's blocked. Or I actually had it on for longer charge, maybe, not sure. Alright, I'll get back. And back again, it's sort of exhibiting a overcharge sort of dilemma. Well, it was going down and then it sort of raised in voltage and now it's sort of jumping. Well, that's how the other cells happen to work when they get overcharged. So it might have stabilised. Looks like it, we're not increasing now. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, it's doing that thing again, it's raising. Could be a carbon cookie, that alligator clip connected to it might be like getting loose. Alright, I'll be back for the next update. Okay, the cell's made it for an hour. At 7 volts on the last run, we were at an hour and 18 minutes. So somewhat may have not had enough charge perhaps. I could have charged it for, I was electroplating anyway, and then I didn't set it on the data logger to charge it. I thought it was about half hour to 45, might have been an hour and a bit. So I'll let it still run, and tomorrow I'll give it an hour and 30 minutes charge and see if we get any different. We're sort of on schedule, about another hour left, 20 milliamps. So looking still okay, a bit wobbly this time in its results. Could be a bad contact, I'm not sure. Alright, I'll be back. 1.5 hour update on the cell. 0.6 volts, 31 milliamp hours and 26 milliwatt hours. Still looking not too bad. It's in the ballpark of being a good cell. Alright, until it's done. Okay, the cell's made it for 2 hours. We're down to 0.53. I think we were 5.4 before. And we're a half hour short of the other one. That could mean we didn't charge it up for long enough. So tomorrow I'll charge it for an hour and a half and see what we get. And our milliamps is 42 milliamps, 32 milliwatts. We're down on the milliamps. We were 51, so we're 10 down on that and 10 down on the other. It was about 43 milliwatt hours and 51 milliamp hours on the first run. So I'm just stopping this and we'll check the voltage bounce back. We're about 0.7. Oh yeah, we're bouncing back pretty well. Maybe a bit quicker. So there you go. Alright, so tomorrow I'll charge it up for an hour and a half and we'll see where we sit. If it works tomorrow, I'll post a video, I guess. I'll post it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, till then. Okay, I'm back the next day. The cell's been on charge for 2 hours and 12 minutes and it's slowly dropping, very slowly actually. Voltage hasn't raised much. In fact, it might be even be going down. So I'll just disconnect the charge and connect the data logger to the other end of the tester. Okay, and where's my lead? Alright, we should have a voltage now. Yeah, alright, we're up a bit higher today. We're 1.9. There's a massive gap. After this run, I'm going to put a paper towel and squeeze them up together and see what happens, but I won't charge it for an hour. So this is just to see if our power density in this cell after the next day, because the second run was a bit lower, but I might have been a bit less on charge. So here we go, we got 20 milliamp load and starting. Alright, it's looking promising. It's holding 1.8. Alright, I'll get back. We're doing 4 milliamp watts. Alright. 22 minutes into its discharge cycle and it's holding fairly strong, 1.4 volts. Voltage I've noticed drops really slowly. We're at 8 milliamp hours and 12 milliwatt hours. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, back 52 minutes and we're still 1.174 volts. 18 milliamp hours and 25 milliwatt hours. Only problem with this cell, it may not be reproducible. Because the electrolyte may be needing to be formed or whatever I did with the 60 charges. And it may not even be reproducible. Could be a one-hit wonder cell. There's no off-gassing. And look how hot, strong that voltage stays for. It's not even dropping. Oh yeah, just dropped then. One. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, the cell's now at 1 hour and 40 minutes, 34 milliamp hours and 42 milliwatt hours, and holding 0.986 volts. It's jumping up and down a bit, so it's holding firm, and it's actually looking alright. So the first charge I must have done it for over 2 hours. I just wasn't expecting to do a charge, it was just electroplating. Well, it wasn't electroplating, it was forming. Alright, I'll be back in another update. Okay, back for a 2 hour and 8 minute update. The cell's still going, holding strong at 0.9, 43 milliamp hours and 51 milliwatt hours so far. And if you can see the voltage, it's just holding firm. It's sort of like sitting around 0.9 volts for 20 milliamp load. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, the cell's now at 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 36 minute runtime, holding 0.838 strong, 53 milliamp hours and 59 milliwatt hours. So I must have charged it up or was doing my electroplating for around about an hour and 20 to an hour and 30 minutes, because 2 hours and 12 minutes charge time has already yielded that run time we had before. It was down to 0.5 at this time. And I think the cell could actually take a longer charge because it was still like 55 milliamps. So, interesting. I'm not sure if it's due to the size of the carbon chip on it though. That's a lot of carbon. But quite interesting results. It would be probably my best cell to date, I would say. Definitely. Alright, I'll get back. The cell is now at 3 hours and 8 minutes, 0.766 volts, holding well. Oh, it just went up. 64 milliamp hours and 68 milliwatt hours. Still looking good. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, 3 hours and 31 minutes run time so far, holding 0.721 voltage. Phone must be getting full. Okay, I freed up some memory on the phone. 3.5 hours run time, 0.7 volts and 72 milliamp hours and 74 milliwatt hours. So the cell's still holding strong. And the cut-off voltage will be 0.5 as the other ones. I'll get back when that actually runs out. Okay, cell's been going for 4 hours and 6 minutes. So we're at 0.6 volts, 83 milliamp hours, 82 milliwatt hours. And probably another half hour maybe. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, 4 hours and 35 minutes, it's at 0.6 watts, 0.6 volts, long day, 93 milliamps and 88 milliwatt hours. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, we're down to 0.55 volts, 5 hours and 8 minutes and 104 milliamp hours and 95 milliwatt hours. For this run. I'm shutting it down, we're not going to probably get much more. we may. It's holding pretty well, but I gotta go out and I'll post the results of this 3 charges, and I'll continue working on this cell, I reckon, because it seems to be worth it. I'll see if it responds with if you can sort of see it, it's a stainless steel mesh as a collector plate perhaps. It may actually improve the results than just having an alligator clipped onto the top. That way we're collecting from the whole surface of the carbon. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this one, because it's sort of a bit mind-boggling for me. Alright, till the next video. Forgot to do a voltage rebound a bit, so stopping the test. And we're rebounding quite well. And I might see what the voltage is tomorrow left overnight and a short circuit, I guess. So I'll see you then. Okay, back 18 hours being idle. The cell's 0.9 volts, and for a short circuit, before we give it a charge, it's on the 200 milliamp range. And short circuiting now, we're about 50 milliamps or something. So still not a lot of power in the cell after a 5-hour discharge. And I'll start the monitor. Well, first I'll connect the lead. I'll give it a 2.5 hour charge or something, and run 100 milliamps I reckon today for a test, just to see what happens. That will appear on the next video though. Oops, don't have the power supply on. Okay, we should jump up to 2 volts. No, what's happening? No, maybe daylog is broken. No. No voltage. Alright, I'll sort that out. There must be something to do with the charger. I'm getting 2 volts, but it's not going through the cell. Cell could be damaged. What's going on? Alright, well, that'll be it. I'll connect the charger and see what's happening. It was just the data logger collapsed. See, now we got 228 milliamps. Yep, set the monitor. Right, okay, we're all good to go. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.